Hey guys, so as you can tell from this photo, I'm going to be talking about the Justice Court today, because what I didn't realize in that my original series talking about my parents who ruled government, I didn't include a court or legal system. And I've actually found that in many philosophers or people who have come up with new series on government, it's actually quite a common thing to not include courts, which I find kind of very strange. But I think the court systems is the very basis of society, because once you have decided in the parliament or the way of life, the courts are the ones who uphold this and make sure that it goes on. Without the courts, corruption would take place. So the courts are kind of very important. And so first I want to clear about how different court systems define like the US court is more deemed like in criminal cases about punishment, whereas Canadian and other courts go for rehabilitation, and some courts in some countries are better than others. So I want to say, in my version of world government, it would be one of the best courts the world has ever seen. It will be more like a rehabilitation center. I don't believe in prisons, but I believe in usually people who end up going into crimes and doing criminal cases probably has some sort of psychological problem, either naturally, biologically, or by what's happened in their life, like if they're born in a crime neighborhood. Now obviously, hopefully in the world government society I propose, that would not happen anymore. But I still, if anyone commits crimes, I believe it should be rehabilitative. Now I do want to pose the question of, now there is a theory that some people think every crime should be punishable by death, because then that would limit what people will do. But others think that would just make people more slimy and try and hide it more. So I'm not sure if that's a good policy. I just wanted to add that in there to see what you guys think. But I do believe it should be more rehabilitative and trying to help them out of that situation. Like if they're in a really bad home environment or they're having a problem in a specific area, maybe it should drive relocation, counseling services, try and get them in a routine, maybe job search, career search, education. Like I think it should be more like a helpful service. So instead of punishing them, you figure out what's wrong and try and help them. Because we realized most negative punishment does not work. Well, punishment at all, positive or negative punishment, it doesn't generally work that well, especially positive punishment. So when you do corporal or things like this, it's not really helping. All it does is makes them angrier at the system, or makes them feel more justified in what they've done, since the world doesn't care about them. So I do think this is a good idea. And I also think what's another weird case about some prisons is that they have no guards in the prison. They just have guards around the prison to keep them from getting out, and they just let the prisoners go wild. I just think it's like such a horrific thing. But I also want to see your opinion on that, because some people think it's a good thing, especially if you don't think of getting them out, or it just helps limit guards getting hurt. And that's why I think it really shouldn't be like, my prison wouldn't really be like a prison. So instead of guards, it'd be like security and trying to make sure everyone's accountable. Now getting back to the justice system, one thing I think we failed to evolve from is that we say alleged a lot, which is kind of good in some cases, and the media sometimes gets it wrong and acts like they've done it. But what I think is weird is even when there's video evidence and it's been proven it's not doctored in any way, it's still called alleged. And so what I think, because I know innocent until proven guilty, but to me, I do see a certain positive light in guilty until proven innocent, because then it requires the defender to help realize their case more. And like, it's not the prosecutor's job, it's the defender's job, which I think is that how it should be. And I do believe if there is such evidence, like DNA evidence, video evidence, I'm not so relying on witness testimony, since it's usually proven it's not that reliable. And it's also a problem with our systems today, is we rely on witness evidence, which is not that great. Like, psychology has proven people can have false memories, and sometimes can be coerced into false memories and thinking that it's real just by a few sleight of hands, especially when they use it to point out, when you go into a room and say, here's the people. Sometimes they can have like, they can, some to the body language, sometimes they can tell who they want them to choose, and sometimes that happens. So I don't think that's a good system. So I believe in those cases where evidence is like there's not even a case, like, they should just go straight to the mental rehabilitation center, because there's no point. But in cases where it does require more voice, I think what should be done, instead of a prosecutor-defender system, it would be the defendant, the person guilty. I'm talking about criminal cases here for now, but it would be the defendant, and then you'd have an arbitrator. So there would be no prosecutor-defender, just not even really a judge, really. It would be a person with complete objectivity going over what has happened, not trying to prove a point, just lying out all the facts, giving both sides of the story. And then I think, since we would be in an augmented democracy, I think, depending how severe the case, it would be kind of like a jury. Either a specific portion would be chosen, or it would be the whole portion. But I think it would be specific, because unlike AI systems, I highly doubt, unless AI really improves, that they'd be able to know whether someone would choose guilty or not guilty. I believe it should be chosen by people, because AI still isn't sentient yet, and I don't think they could see emotions and see those things like that, because sometimes, in a lot of cases, we know the person's guilty, but they had it for a reason, and so we kind of forgive them for that. It's that emotional subjectivity. So I think that's how it should kind of be in the court system. And so basically the only thing, and of course we'd have kind of like security of the court, like you'd have the arbitrators to defend courts, but then you'd also have overseers just to make sure everything's going well, everyone's doing their jobs. And I think that could be done by AI. And that's why I think, I'm not sure, I forget the name of it, but it's like a show where AI kind of like controls life, and done through security, kind of like 1984. But in that case, if the AI is watching through cameras and watching everything, make sure everything's done correctly, and because now obviously I think there should be a human component just in case, just so that sometimes if someone complains or reports the AI for doing a false thing, somebody can check in, run a diagnostic on the AI, make sure it's all functioning all right. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this because I think we don't talk about laws and courts often. I think it's a very important subject. I know I didn't get to civil and stuff, but civil wouldn't really be applicable because, in my view, the government owns everything. So there can't really be civil unless you're going against other people. But, I mean, this is just like a baseline. I'm not really arguing the whole system, but I'd like to hear your ideas and thoughts about how it could be improved. Because today's system, other anywhere in the world, is just not good at all. I think most people can agree on that. But thank you guys. Bye.